In 6 weeks' time, Tonga will be hosting the Pacific Islands Forum Leaders Summit. There will be about 1,000 people attending, and housing them is proving a challenge. Our correspondent in Tonga, Moala, says the government is appealing for locals who might be able to host some guests to come forward. Don Wiseman spoke with Mr. Moala and began by asking how the plans for prefab accommodation and other infrastructure are going.
Well, definitely one thing that looks is going to be ready, and that's the meeting hall, an indoor stadium that the Chinese have been building as part of a high school, Tonga High School. And it had nothing to do with the forum, but the government wants it to be finished for the forum meeting. It was scheduled to be finished by December, so the Chinese have hurried it up and they're working. I went around to take a look at it, and it looks like, they've announced it's going to be finished in time for the forum. And so the meeting place looks ready. It's the accommodation that's going to be a real problem. And
this is always a problem, of course, in Tonga. I can remember going to a forum, I think it was in 2008, and I got shunted into a room that had no windows down a long alleyway. It was a very peculiar place. But the government has got a plan to try and house everyone. What's it doing?
They had a plan of constructing prefab houses in different locations. For example, close by in our area here in Kolomoutua, there's supposed to be 20 prefab houses built in one location. In another location across town, there's supposed to be 60. These are the plans that have been announced. You go to those sites, and they're actually nothing there yet. And so the promise and the hope was that very shortly there will be these houses that will, prefab houses made out of containers, in fact, that will start appearing in Tonga. But then talking to a construction worker, one of the leaders in the construction company, and he said, well, you've got to put the foundations in there, and just putting a house there doesn't mean it's ready. You've got to put beds in there. You've got to put all kinds of the furniture that's needed in there. Think of the amount of sheets and pillows and all of the things that needs to be there for somebody to be able to sleep there. It doesn't look good.
Probably more critical things. They've got to wire them up and plumb them up and things like that, don't they?
Absolutely.
With these houses at the end of this process, what's going to happen to them?
Well, the announcement, again, from government is that they're going to make them available. They're going to make them available for purchases at a very reasonable price for people that don't have any houses and especially poorer families. So they'll make them available for the public.
Will there be takers for something like that?
The feeling, locally, and you get this from not only social media, you're talking to people here, there's a lot of skepticism on it. In Tonga, you can go and borrow money from the bank to build a proper house, and here are houses that are made in containers. Where can you fit a toilet in that container? Usually, if it's for families, usually these container houses are 2 rooms or even just 1 room. With a cooking facility, containers. But, the critical thing that we're feeling here is that I believe that it looks like government is in a panic mode. They have a realization that some of these things are not going to be finished. And the reason they're in a panic mode is that you start hearing them basically asking people if they have room in their individual homes, just 1 room or 2 rooms. Please make contact with government. They'll help them out to redo those rooms for accommodation for forum visitors. And so it looks like they're already going out knowing that some of these planned accommodation is not going to work, may not be finished, and they're trying to mobilize the local population. Please, if you have room in your home, make those rooms available.
How many people coming to the forum?
Over 1,000. That has been announced. Over 1,000. You've got not, of course, just the leaders, the prime ministers, the presidents of these 18, 19 nations, but you've got their entourage, you've got the workers that come with them, and if you take one leader bringing in about 30 or 40 people, you have over 1,000 people that's going to be here.